Remain seated, please. All right. Let's go again on the record on the Boustred matter.
I'm David Levay, attorney in the county, Mr. Boustred, who is present in court.
Mr. Boustred's here by special appearance, of course.
I've read and considered the probation report, which consists of some 11 pages, and the fact that Mr. Levay, any legal cause why judge did not now be
Only to reiterate what I think we've said in the past, that there's no proper procedure in the absence of a grand jury indictment, which is the position Mr. Boustred has previously taken.
If I may, Your Honor, I'm actually representing myself as well as having counsel here. I wish to add on the record that certain agreements between public prosecutor and public prospective defendants are in flagrant violation of the interests of justice and therefore highly improper. Thus, it is improper for a prosecutor to promise an accused in return for a confession of guilt regarding a particular crime immunity from prosecution for other crimes that he may have committed. People v. Groves, 63 CA 709 219 P 1033. And then again in People v. Chapman, 234 P 2D 716 106 CA 2D 51. To compel a plea of guilty by threats, fraud, or coercion is denial of due process, and in proper cause, if found to exist, would warrant issuance of a writ of error coram nobis. But to be entered to writ, applicant must file with due diligence. I have indeed filed a coram nobis in this case. I have been pressured, blackmailed, and in fact, when I supposedly was blackmailed by you, Mr. Barton, who immediately ordered that I not communicate with my children after the sheriffs tried to murder me in front of my children. And you, sir, also have been holding my children hostage right now as you rushed in to the family court case to even prohibit me from sending my children cards to tell them I love them. I have witnessed many cases, many situations all around the world. I've never seen something so disgraceful as your behavior. It shocks the conscience. Obviously, you don't have much of a conscience. I have here as well a no-bill grand jury indictment for yourself, if I may approach.
Yeah.
Good. Thank you, sir. As we speak, grand juries are forming across the nation, indicting this corporate administrative court that you're pretending to act as a judge in, indicting you for failing to follow the law. Your arrogance in this regard is astonishing. The law is absolutely clear. The Fifth Amendment specifically placed there from a date which predates the Magna Carta to get rid of witch hunts, so the government cannot go after people and simply prosecute them into silence because of crimes the government has committed against people. You know very well that the cases filed against me, I was not guilty of any crime, accused of driving 40 miles per hour down a private road, when in fact the evidence proved I was driving 27 miles per hour, with no reason to chase me. They shot at me in front of my children. A man ran up to my car and literally tried to blow my head off in front of my children. I'm glad you haven't got him here threatening me today, because usually you have him in the courtroom in front of me to threaten me every time. I was then again assaulted in my garage in front of my children, thrown in jail, and accused of assault with a deadly weapon. I just for the first time saw this probation report this morning. It's full of libel, full of slander, full of disgraceful behavior. What are you trying to prove? Do you know that there's law in this country? You have actually effectively shut down what I was working to put up, a non-fiat based banking system, which would solve this current crisis, a free education system, which would prevent the state from running education.
Can you interrupt a moment, Mr. Boustred? You just indicated that you just read the probation report. You indicated to me that you're not prepared to proceed this morning?
I'm not prepared to proceed in any of these cases. Now, the issues with respect to the probation report is that as I read it, it is full of inconsistencies. I've only just seen it now. It's got inaccuracies. But in regard to that, there's something that's vastly more important. The matter of due process. The Fifth Amendment is explicit. You may not prosecute someone without a grand jury indictment. And here, sir, I have a grand jury indictment for you. You have no jurisdiction in this case. You rushed to throw me in jail with bail set at $200,000 while you rushed down to San Jose court to get the case I filed against you dismissed. And the basis for ordering that I not even tell my children I love them? Do you have any integrity? Any at all? Any morals? Any decency? Do you have children?
Mr. Boustred, my question is this. You read the probation report. You prepared for sentencing this morning.
I'm absolutely not prepared for sentencing or any case.
Your request.
My request is that this case be dismissed and that law be served.
Your next request.
I don't make any request to this court. I want to see the grand jury indictment.
Mr. Boustred, we've discussed that. I've indicated what's happening on that.
If you want to have an offer,
It's now time for sentencing. My question to you, Mr. Boustred, is, are you prepared this morning or do you need more time?
I'm prepared to settle. My first lawsuit against you was a $3.3 billion win. My second lawsuit was a $3.3 million win. And my last lawsuit I filed for $1.45 trillion would be a small fraction of what this government is spending on murdering people overseas, which would put together an education system for the world, would put together decent judicial systems, would put together a non-fiat-based banking system which is being used to rape everyone and steal everyone's homes.
Mr. Boustred, back to my question. Are you prepared for sentencing this morning?
I said, I gave you an offer. I said, I'm prepared to settle on those cases with respect to those issues. Am I prepared for sentencing? Obviously not.
You entered the plea.
I never entered a plea. I was blackmailed.
You entered the plea.
I was blackmailed.
Please don't interrupt. Are you prepared for sentencing this morning?
I never entered a plea.
All right. My question then is, based upon the probation report, based upon the plea that was entered in this court, and based upon that indication, are you going to accept probation?
I never entered a plea.
You need to answer my question.
Well, obviously, if I never entered a plea, I'm not accepting anything this court is doing because you don't have jurisdiction.
And then at this point, the judgment of the court.
Okay. Could you hold it? Could you take my computer?
In violation of
You don't have to hurt me, guys. I'm relaxed. You really don't have to assault me in this case. David, could you take my wallet out of my pocket? Take my wallet out of that pocket. In that pocket. And my keys?
Yeah, step back. We'll get the keys out. Be more than happy. Do you want him to have the keys? Okay, just relax.
Could you undo that? That's.
Do you want anything else to go to him?
Sorry.
Do you want anything else in your pockets to go to him?
Let me see. I'm just fine.
count one. In relation to count two,
You don't have to hold me, guys. I'm not going anywhere.
I will
Just
impose
relax.
a midterm of 2 years concurrent on each, for a total of 6 years in the Department of Corrections. And and I'll impose 7 days credit against the 2 years.
Your Honor, if I may be heard, just briefly.
Yes.
We did have a conditional plea here.
No, there was no condition.
No,
The
we can-
condition was that Mr. Boustred accept probation, be placed on probation with the execution sentence suspended. He's indicated he's not going to accept probation.
Actually, I didn't hear him say it that way. I heard him say that there was no jurisdiction over the proceeding, but I didn't.
I have asked him multiple times, he has indicated he's not going to, so I'm imposing state prison. If he wants to think about that, I'll deal with it at 1:30, but at this point, I've asked him multiple times, he's indicated no, I see no other alternative.
What do you want to do?
So,
Let's go and talk about this with some people outside. Will they go throw me in custody now, are they?
Well, sure,
Well, he
looks
said-
like it, you know.
Well, I would like
I mean,
you to
it's
call.
either you to accept probation or you're going to prison. That's
So
it.
I'm blackmailed into accepting probation.
Well, but
Okay, I accept probation under blackmail.
no. 6 years in the Department of Corrections forthwith.
David?
Again, Your Honor, I would just state for the record that this
Hang
is
on,
contrary to
come
the
this way.
plea agreement that we entered.
Yeah, I'm not going anywhere, guys.
We do.
Yeah, what
We do it with everybody.
I don't believe
Everybody
that.
does.